Welcome to my podcast, Live from the Heart. I'm Anne-Claire Meret, and I'm excited to do this episode today, which is a little bit special because I'm walking. And I want to talk about how I do 15,000 steps per day. And well, it's on average what I've been doing because I've been walking 10,000 steps per day for many, many years. And I've decided for the whole summer to do a minimum of 15,000. So it's been 3 weeks so far and it's going well. There might be some sounds, sorry, maybe some scooters, maybe some wind, and I can't help it. I'm doing my best. I hope it's okay for this episode. So it all started with a choice and a commitment to myself because I'm not really a sporty person, but I've always enjoyed walking. So this is something that's been really easy to me. I'm more of a city girl and I just love being active, and I've always preferred to walk a little bit more than taking a bus or whatever other options there was to go from one place to another if it's walkable. And I believe it has kept me in shape, which is pretty cool. I mean, I'm in pretty good shape for someone who doesn't exercise much, and I'm grateful for that. I think that I'm more active than a lot of people because when I talk about doing 10,000 steps minimum per day, some people look at me like, oh my God, how do you do that? I'm like, well, that's not so difficult. It starts with a choice. It's really a commitment to yourself. And it's just as everything, not drinking alcohol and limiting your intake of transformed food and all those things, it starts with a choice. It's about health. It's about choosing yourself and loving yourself, really. That's how I feel. So these days I'm actually close to 17,000 steps, which is a win. I don't know how I'm going to keep it up because I have a retreat starting on Tuesday. So this podcast will probably be released on Wednesday. So yeah, starting on Tuesday, I'm going to have a retreat. I'm going to work a few hours a day with a beautiful group in Bali, helping them writing their books. So I'm going to have to walk in the mornings and walk in the evenings. And I'm going to see how I can make it happen and I can still sustain my 15,000 steps. I'm self-employed and obviously it's a little bit easier for me because I get to arrange my schedule just the way I want. But already, please note that even if you stay at home and if you just, get up and do stuff in your house, you are walking at least 1,000 to 3,000 steps every day. That's pretty basic walks, except if you're not ever getting up from your chair. But most people are just, moving around and doing things. Also, I have animals at home, so I just play with them. I move a lot. I have stairs. I have a spacious home with different levels, so obviously I do quite a lot of steps already at home. I am tracking my steps, which is very helpful to know how much I walked. I used to do it with my phone, so I have an Android phone. There's an app called Fit, F-I-T, and I used to do that, but then it meant I had to have my phone at all times to track all my steps, which is not necessarily possible, and who wants to do that? Have their phone at all times is really not easy. So I have a ring now. It's called Oura Ring, O-U-R-A, and it's actually fun. My husband bought one for himself in July 2 years ago, and when he told me, do you want one? I was like, I don't know. I mean, do I need that? I just need to know that I moved enough. Like, I just need to feel that I moved enough. And then there was a golden one, so I just told myself, yeah, well, they're pretty, so let's buy one. And I've been addicted to it since then because it tracks my sleep, it tracks my temperature, tracks my steps. So this is really great to know where I stand, and it makes things easier. And I believe that what you track, you can improve. But if you don't have a sense of what you're currently doing, how do you want to improve? So it's been really helpful for me, and yeah, I like it. So as I said in the introduction, it's about having a vision for my life and priorities, I want to grow healthy. I want to grow old or young because that's how I feel, healthy as much as I can. And I'm a naturopath, and I've made choices that I've invested and choose to invest in, every single year. I think, okay, I'm going to do better than last year. And indeed, I feel that I'm more in shape than I was 20 years ago. I used to be an insomniac with a lot of anxiety. Yeah, I didn't feel good in my body. I feel that my body now is toned. It's happy. I feel more attuned to my feelings and my physical sensations. This is just amazing. I love it. So I believe this is just by listening more to it and what it needs. And also, I think that we should do the exercise that is actually pleasurable to us. Like if you like walking, if you like making love, if you like dancing, if you like swimming, you should do whatever pleases you and not necessarily force yourself if you want to be sustainable on the long run. Then it's a different story. If you're really unhealthy and if you need to catch up. And in that case, I believe that you should do the extra mile that brings you in shape and then you keep whatever you like. Also, things will change for me in the upcoming years because I'm 41 years old and I know that I need to build more muscle for my older age. So I'll probably start lifting weight. But Christian, my husband, already started to buy some equipment and it's starting to arrive at home. And step by step, we're going to build a gym at home. And I believe I'm going to use the tools. So step by step. I had a membership at the gym here in Bali where we live for a while. And yeah, it was a bit of a pain because it was 30 minutes from home. So it's extra effort to just take the bike, go there. For me, take a driver because I don't drive. So order a driver, scooter driver, how it works here. Go there and then wait again for another driver and come home. So it took a whole morning each time, which I don't want to dedicate a whole morning to gym. That's not my thing. But I'm happy to dedicate a whole morning to walking because I find it enjoyable. This is wonderful. I just love it. So first thing first, where do I walk? I walk a little bit on the street and then I walk on the beach. So right now I'm still on the street and I'm arriving at the beach as I talk to you. The street is not really polluted. There's not too much traffic. It's quite nice. And yeah, well, right now I just see a very handsome boy running. So that's pretty enjoyable too. And I'm arriving at the beach where I can easily walk for, well, on that side of the beach, maybe 20 minutes. And then on the other side of the beach, I have an easy 45 minutes if it's low tide. So I usually check the tide before going, where I can walk without being interrupted. And it's just super nice. So I choose to live in places where I can actually walk around and not have to drive somewhere in order to walk around. I recently had a conversation with a friend. She lives in France, in a beautiful area. But if she wants to walk where she feels safe, where it's not dangerous for her as a solo woman, she has to take her car and go somewhere. So she basically does it once in a while. She's not going to do it every day because it's too much effort. So this is something that I've had on my mind because walking is so important to me that I choose places to live that are comfortable for me to walk around. And if it's not possible, I don't want to live there. And for example, I have a project with friends with whom I want to build a sanctuary. And I told them, I said, I will only live there once we have everything, all the facilities and, gym, treadmill, and path that I can go around and like not just in the middle of the jungle where I'm not going to walk because it's too dangerous, it's too slippery, or I need to have an active life every day and not feel like I'm isolated in the middle of nowhere without the possibility to go anywhere walking. So this is something that's always on my mind. Okay, next. So why do I walk? What are the benefits? For me, it's to make space in my life because everything is so kind of. I have a lot of things. I have a company with 14 people that works with me. I have multiple ideas. I write books. I have a husband and animals, beautiful life at home, friendships like we always do. I have a boyfriend, like so many things on my mind. I'm busy. And when I walk, I get out of the busyness, I take a breath of inspiration, some fresh air. It clears my mind. And I enjoy that it's a complete exercise for my body. It's it works every muscle to work, to walk. And also it's not hard on the body. Walking is gentle, and I like that. It's more of a feminine way to approach exercise, I feel. It's not hard on the knees, it's not hard on the ankles. I believe it also helps me have a good posture because at home I'm in front of the computer quite often or the phone, so I have my neck a little bit down or not always really comfortable. But when I walk, my head is up, you know. I look to the horizon, which is one of the things I love to do the most, looking up at the horizon, seeing far, being able to see far. And that's also why I love to walk at the beach. This is wonderful. And also it's very refreshing. Just living in a hot country, living by the beach and walking at the beach every day is super refreshing and healthy for the clean air. Yeah, I just like it. I'm sweating. Well, this is great because it's very helpful to stay healthy too. Although I do go to saunas and steam rooms and stuff like that, but I get to sweat every day walking in the sun. I try to go early in the morning. Early, I mean as early as I do. I mean before 10, and just have the first walk, and then later on I'll go again for sunset. Sometimes not always possible, and I end up walking in the middle of the day, which is not very comfortable because it's too hot. In that case, I must have a hat and something to cover my shoulders because I don't wear sunscreen. So this is how I do it. I just go out without taking a shower because my body is covered with just a thin layer of sweat, and just the sebum is helping to regulate and protect the skin. And if I don't remove it before going in the sun, I am protected. So that's just what I do. But note that my skin has a lot of melanin. My family comes from Morocco, so I'm kind of more protected than super white skin. So if I go in the middle of the day, I just cover my shoulders and I wear a hat. I've been recently wearing hats actually quite a lot because I had a scratch on my face from my cat, and I don't want to make it a big scar. And if I don't protect myself from the sun, the scar is going to be a tattoo on my cheek. But that's okay. I'll keep a souvenir of her love. Okay. Also, when I walk on the beach, I pick up trash, which is helping me to just, clean the beach, and I stay active. Picking up trash is helpful. It's a little bit also annoying because living in Bali, there is a lot of trash, and I just do my best. I just do my part. We hired people to clean for 3 months. It was a little bit better, but not so much better. And recently they said that they're going to do something in the neighborhood and that we're going to do it more of a collective effort. So let's see how it's going. It's not really fast. Let's see how it goes. So because it's the beach, I walk barefoot, and it's been helpful for me to just be more grounded and connected to the ground because I don't have a garden right now. I only have like a bit of a deck and a pool, but being able to walk without shoes has been really nice every day for me. It's really a grounding experience. I think it also improves endurance. Just being able to walk for 45 minutes, an hour without complaining about anything, it just makes me stronger, So this is important. It makes also stronger bones, improves my balance. It's been said that it reduces body fat, and it's good for heart and lungs. So this is a very complete exercise to me. Also, I drink a lot of water when I walk. Like I drink before, I drink during, I drink water with salt and lemon, and then I drink again after. So this is also helping me with my water intake. So how do I stay committed to walking every day, even when I don't really feel like it or when I have things to do? Well, I use the time for my benefits because it's such an inspiring moment for me. I take notes. For example, my retreat is next week. I add notes on my notebook or in my phone about things that I want to say to the people who are joining. It's just a space where I can breathe and I can think. And I also do it for when I write books. Most of my books recently have been written on the beach, and most of my posts too. I just get really inspired, so I leave myself a voice note, and then I type it when I'm home, or I just write it down on my phone or on my notebook, which is in my bag. I have a walking bag. So my bag to go walking is different than my bag to just go to town. Because in this bag I have my cap, I have something light to put on my shoulder, I have a sarong if I want to sit, I have a notebook, and I have like a jar to drink. And I usually have dog food if I meet some dogs on the way. And what else? Well, some tissue. I've been crying quite a lot lately, so I also have some tissue. So that's about it. And a little bit of money just in case I want to buy something on the way, like a coconut. I also work when I walk, which is really nice because it's, I do a lot of management now where I'm at with my company because it's grown quite a lot the past few years. And I have a beautiful team and I just listen to their messages or read their messages and then leave them voice notes so that I can delegate more things. I used to hate voice notes, but this is very interesting. Walking is just not, it's not a good setting to type. So I've been leaving more voice notes and actually enjoy that quite a lot. So I do it now with my team and I do it now with friends too. So I do that too. I answer messages from friends and I listen to their little podcasts and I respond to them. And it's like a back and forth, a bit of an everyday connection with a bunch of friends, which is super nice. I also listen to a lot of podcasts, videos on YouTube that I download on my phone, but I just listen to them. I don't watch them. And also audiobooks. And I'm a big reader. In the evenings, I read on my Kindle. I read stories, mostly in French. And in the morning, I love inspirational books in English. So I listen to them. It's just awesome. I recently listened to Tantric Orgasms for Women, Tantric Sex for Men. I'm currently reading one about secure love, about attachment, and another one about wealth. Yeah, just love being inspired like this in the morning. I think it's just awesome. And I take a few notes in my phone and then I share with my friends and nuggets of, nuggets of wisdom. I just love it. What else? Well, it keeps me tanned for sure because every day I spend a few hours outside. How long does it take to walk 10,000 steps? I think it's a little bit less than an hour and a half, probably 1 hour 15. And then if you want to do 15,000 steps or more, like I'm doing currently, it's much longer. It's like, we're pretty close to 2 hours and it's, takes a long time. And, sometimes I've been confronted to I have not finished my steps in the evening. Like it's going to be, I don't know, super dark. It's dark super early here, like 6 p.m. And sometimes I'm not done with my steps and I have to finish them at home inside of the house and it's not fun. So I've been doing that a little bit for like the last 1,000 steps. Oh my God. I'm seeing those beautiful, I've only seen them in Costa Rica. I had no idea they have it here in Bali. Beautiful, I think you call them Macau, parrots with a lot of colors. Wow, that's the gift from today. Well, I get to see that too. And, I see sometimes bluebirds, and I believe bluebirds are a sign for beautiful things. Okay, here are some challenges that I've been encountering. I have a dog, Sweetie, which is a super lovely dog, and we walk her twice a day. Usually Christian does it in the morning, early morning, while I'm still in bed. And usually I walk with them in the evening, and walking with Sweetie has been a challenge because she sniffs everything on the side. So when I walk with her, it just takes forever compared to when I walk alone. So having a dog is great to get you out of the house and actually do some steps, but oh my God, dogs are slow. So unless your dog is really fast and know where it's heading and just happy to go there with you, it's going to take you more time to achieve less steps. So just write that down. And so we have really enjoyable walks with Christian and Sweetie. In the evening, it's very loving. It's a family moment, but it's not as efficient as my steps during the day. Also, sometimes it rains. So how do I do when it rains? I take an umbrella if it's not too windy, and if it is, I take a raincoat. Luckily, it's not the rainy season right now in Bali, but even if it were, I keep walking, I find ways, and it's been raining quite a lot the first few days of my challenge of walking more, and I just did my steps, whether I was here in Chemagi where I reside, or I was in Ubud. I just did it, and yeah, I made it work. When you really want something, you just make it work. And just as I said, also sometimes I have not finished my steps, and I just did them at home, coming up and down the stairs and all the things. We are going to buy a treadmill because it will be helpful. We can do other things when we're at home that we cannot do when we're walking. For example, there are some courses online that I bought that I would like to listen to, but they're not accessible on my phone, or the connection is not good enough, or whatever, so I cannot listen to them. That would be great if I could just walk and listen to them. Actually, when you sign up for my courses, I use a platform called Kajabi, and Kajabi has an app, and you can download it on your phone, and you can just listen to every course that I'm sharing with the world on the app, which is really great. Sometimes as a challenge, what I see is pollution. So if you're surrounded by pollution like here in Bali, if you walk on the streets, it's not as good, obviously, because you're not going to breathe clean air. And for that, well, I only recommend to find nature. I don't see the point in walking always in town. If it's once in a while, for me, I'm happy to walk in town. Like when I go to Ubud, I also have a house there, and I go like once a week, and I walk in Ubud. I walk in the rice fields, and it's a bit polluted too. And then I walk in the city, and that's okay because it's not an everyday thing, It's maybe, I don't know, 20% of my time. It's okay. This rule 20-80, I love it. Just 80% healthy, 20% less healthy, and that's fine. It's a good balance for life, I believe. And I also detox my body quite a lot. My next step would be to walk with some weights. So we're looking for some weights to buy here on Tokopedia, which is kind of the local Amazon. And I'm just going to walk with the weights to just, improve building muscle. So how much do you walk? I want to ask you now. And are you interested in walking more? There is something that happened recently is that we're taking care of that dog, Cutie, which is super adorable. I talked about it in my last podcast. And she had an accident and she cannot walk anymore. And she's a street dog, so she just used to be wandering around the streets and sleep in front of our door and being fed once a day and by other neighbors too. And she cannot walk, and when it happened, I collapsed and I cried for so many days. I haven't cried since yesterday morning, so something is shifting right now. And we visit her every day, and she cannot walk. She's just, in her cage, and when we take her out of the cage to cuddle with her, she just cannot move. She just moves a little bit with the front legs, but she doesn't know yet how to move herself. And she's not a small dog. She's like 12 kilos. And I believe that what happened to her also was really hard for me because I love the freedom of walking, and seeing her not being free anymore was so hard for me. And then, well, I'm supporting myself these days and rephrasing what else it means and doesn't give it a meaning for her, and maybe it's actually good for her to be still for a while and have the love of people visiting her, and then create a new chapter in her life, because anyway there is no choice. And who am I to say that it's not going to be better if she lives with her or if she lives in a shelter that we're going to find with other disabled dogs. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the future, but I can see how it resonates with me too. Something that my husband shared with me is that Nietzsche, the philosopher, said that only thoughts while working were of value. And I love that because that's true. That's so true. So only thoughts while walking were of value. And if we feel stuck in life, I believe that walking is good. It's always great. Just walk for a few hours, and get yourself out there. Oh, I haven't talked about shoes, but I usually walk barefoot. So just the portion of the street which is on concrete, I just use my flip-flops, and then I walk barefoot. So for me, it's pretty easy. But I know people who use barefoot shoes. I didn't get a chance to try them at my size, and I don't really want to buy them online and they're a wrong fit because I have very narrow feet. I have like kind of long feet, but they're very petite. And quite often when I buy shoes, it's not a good match. So I don't want to buy expensive shoes online that are not a good match for me. So I'm just happy to walk barefoot. I believe this is healthier anyway. I get, energized by the ground if there is not too much trash. And I wish for the world that there would be more walking paths, just more sidewalks. The sidewalks here in Bali are just completely destroyed. They're completely broken. You have to be really alert when you walk here because you can just fall in a hole and get really hurt. It's super dangerous, and you cannot walk with like a stroller. If we get the handicapped dog, I don't see how we can like have a handicapped dog walking with wheels somewhere here. It's going to be impossible. We're going to have to carry her until we know there's a flat surface where she's going to be able to actually run around. So we're going to see how we have to manage that. I wish for the world that people would understand that this is important to have safe sidewalks and also just walking paths a little bit everywhere because it just keeps people healthy in a very easy way. It doesn't require much effort. And if they would create beautiful spaces, with nature and flowers, and that would make the world so much more beautiful, And Christian sent me an essay about walking from James Hillman, and he talks a lot about this, how a lot of things have been built for the eye and not actually for the foot and for the experience of curiosity, of discovering new areas walking. And I remember with my boyfriend, we've been around Bali, and because I walk, sometimes I tell him, I say, let's just park here and then walk. And he's so not used to do it. And then he discovers new places because his eyes can finally just, settle and just walk around with curiosity and not being alert on the road by driving. And he's always saying, oh, I've never seen that before. Yeah, of course, because you're not walking. But if you walk, you notice more things around you. And it's an enjoyable experience. So I just love it. This is so cool. And that's about it. That was a lot of things. I invite you to walk more, to be inspired, and also to keep yourself in shape. Take some sun, some deep breath, grounding, and it's all for your benefits. And I'm curious to see if I'm going to be able to raise my steps. I would love to be able to walk 20,000 steps every day and, consider it my new normal. And I believe I can do that by just rearranging my schedule, making more space for it, making a conscious decision, having a treadmill at home to do a little bit of steps at home too. And that's about it. Just make it a priority. And I hope you enjoyed this episode and it's been useful for you to understand how I make it happen and how you can make it happen too if this is your desire. And you can send me a message on social media or comment below the post, which will be about that topic. And let me know if you also walk and how much you walk and if you love it like I do. I wish you a beautiful day, a beautiful summer of love and lots of steps, feeling inspired and refreshed. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it. And also don't hesitate to put it 5 stars to Apple Podcasts and Spotify because this is very helpful for us to be more visible. Bye-bye.